Hi everyone, thank you for joining us in today's webinar, Making Page One Your Google and Review Strategy. My name's Lim. I'm a Business Development Manager here at Trustpilot. Been here just over a year and a half.
And my name is Dan. I'm a team lead here. It's been here about 4 years. So throughout the duration of this particular webinar, we'll be encouraging you guys to ask any questions. On your panel, you'll see that you have an option to send any questions through, so we'll answer these at the end of the session, so please send as many through as you like.
Great, so I just wanted to run through an agenda today. We are going to cover a couple of topics. We're going to start with how does Trustpilot work with Google, then we're going to look at service reviews and Google seller ratings, and later on we're going to look at rich snippets and product reviews, and we'll tell you what these are during the webinar. But before we get going, Trustpilot's upgraded its branding recently. You may have seen this on our website. You may have seen this on companies that we work with. Our new logo features a 5-pointed green star symbol with an arrow indicating forward progression or future thinking, essentially. If you can look at the star, the logo there now. It's to be used by companies and consumers as an indication or a symbol to identify excellence, essentially. And this is it. So moving on to how Trustpilot works with Google. Trustpilot is a recognized Google, or Google essentially recognizes Trustpilot as a review partner. We're a review partner, and Google recognizes Trustpilot as a trusted and transparent source of legitimate customer reviews. Google uses the review data that Trustpilot provides for insights to make searches more useful, more relevant for their users, essentially. Just as a disclaimer here, Google's essentially God, and only Google controls what it displays on its search rankings. What we tend to see is obviously Trustpilot ranks quite highly just because of the amount customer reviews is taken into consideration. We now rank as the 80th most visited site in the UK, so we tend to pop up on the first page of Google where reviews are relevant to a search term. Google can adjust its algorithm at any time, and Trustpilot has no control over that. So to kick off, we want to start with service reviews. These are reviews based on an overall experience. They're not specific to a product, so they can be a experience you have on a website, delivery, the communication that business has with you, or going in branch and the service you receive from different individuals within that business. Trustpilot helps businesses collect service reviews, and here's a great example. Ocean estate agents who use Trustpilot collect reviews for buying, selling, or renting of properties, and because you go through such a long journey with them, it's great for them to be able to build this reputation, have a platform to showcase how hands-on they are with their customers and what feedback they get. And you can see in terms of SEO, one of the great things about this is if anyone was to Google if they can trust ocean estate agents, Trustpilot comes up on the first page as a top search result there out of 206 million results, actually. Which is quite powerful, and any customer potentially thinking about either buying, listing with them, or using their services will automatically see that they're a great and reputable company and have that confidence to use them. And this also tends to happen when you type in ocean estate agent reviews or are ocean estate agents any good. Trustpilot tends to come up on those results as well. And to take this further, what ocean estate agents have done is to social proof their site. They've actually integrated the reviews, so they've got reviews coming in as early as 9 days ago. If they're using Trustpilot widgets, the reviews will be coming in on an hourly rate that will be updating. So it's relevant customer content, and it helps any customers that are potentially on their site, potentially thinking of using them, helps them make an informed decision and helps them essentially know that they're in good hands by using ocean estate agents. But these service reviews also tie into your Google seller rating. So if you guys are spending on PPC or AdWords, that kind of thing, Google's criteria is to essentially collect 150 verified reviews to show your star rating on your AdWords, and that looks a little something like this. So if we type in the word estate agents, for example, your star rating will show there, and you have to collect these 150 reviews within a 12-month period, and they have to be an average of 3.5 star. The great thing about having those on your AdWords is it's going to help you stand out. The Google stat on this is it typically helps you guys increase your click-through rate on your PPC by 10%. We've got case studies from Answers for You or Purple Bricks where they've seen an over 35% increase in click-through rate, and some of them have seen savings as well, or reductions in cost per click by up to 14%, or in some cases all the way up to 60% in terms of case studies that we've done with some of our customers. So just want to go to a poll now and see how many of you guys invest in Google AdWords. So we'll give you guys a minute just to answer that poll now. Looks like we're getting most of the results in now. Great, so everyone's filled that in. Thank you for responding. It looks like a lot of you are spending on AdWords. 71% of you said yes, and 29% of you guys said no, which obviously is great to see, and some of that will probably be very relevant to how you could potentially optimize those PPC campaigns and essentially get ahead of competition in a way.
Excellent, cheers to that, Lim. The next section we'll be covering is rich snippets. So those who are spending on AdWords, this can tie into your existing campaigns. For those who are not, this is a great way organically to increase click-through rates and ultimately drive that traffic to the website, whatever channel we're looking to push through here. So on this first particular slide here, you can see that there's two separate links here with stars connected to them. One with a 9.3 and one with an 8.6, with those big bright stars next to it, a 4.5 star. This is an element we call rich snippets. This is essentially enriched data from that particular page as a preview on this particular link, and that hence the name rich snippets. We're quickly going to move on to another poll now before we delve into this. Out of these organic links, which one would you most likely click on? So give everyone a few minutes to go through this. Great, looks like most of them are in. So on the poll, the most popular link is number 2. The first one had 33% and the third had 12%. What we're seeing here is, I guess, something we call internally the magpie effect. So it does work. So with this in mind, the big bright stars are giving you a bit of a snippet of the reputation. It's allowing you to catch that consumer's eye through generic search terms. And in this particular case, we're seeing with Lens Direct, they've attached it to the category page, contact lenses. You can apply this up to 5 in terms of our interpretation of Google's guidelines. Any more can be deemed as spamming. So it might be worth after this playing around what your most popular key landing pages are outside the product pages, which we'll move on to later on. And this is a great quick win, especially for those who are not spending on AdWords, but also those who are looking to potentially reduce their spend, attaching these to key pages to ultimately drive that revenue and traffic to the site. So a typical question we get on the phone is, how do we get these rich snippets? So traditionally, you would have to pay a developer to review Google's guidelines, keep it up to date, ensure that that's marked up correctly, and if they're not, then Google can assess what to do with these particular individuals who are not marking these up correctly. So what we've done is done the heavy lifting for you guys. A very simple tick in the box will allow you to attach these rich snippets to an integration, and that'll be attributed to the actual page itself. You'll get your Google console to crawl through your page, and that tick box will provide the code you're seeing on the screen at the moment, and get Google to crawl your website. As soon as Google picks that up, then these stars will start appearing. So really simple to do, a really easy quick win, and typically something that takes a longer period of time to set up. So so far we've been talking just about service reviews. Service reviews on your Google Seller Ratings, service reviews on your key landing pages outside of product. There are also two types of reviews in Trustpilot: service and product reviews. In a very similar fashion, you can attach these rich snippets, and we've done that for you guys once again. So this is a great way to be noticed. You can attribute it to individual pages, and where on your rich snippets you have a more overall score of your service, this is how you're going to stand out for individual products themselves. So if you're competing against a few competitors who are selling the same sort of products, this is a great quick way, first of all, to increase the click-through rate, but secondary as well. All the code is marked up on that particular integration. So it's fed through onto your website. So it's a great source of fresh SEO content. New consumer reviews consistently coming through. It's just going to boost your rankings there. So we're attacking this from two angles here. We're both looking to drive traffic for big bright stars, and we're also looking to improve the SEO. And as you can see for the next slide as well, there's a variety of different integrations and actually provide that social proof and increase conversion rates on those individual product levels. So the next point we're going to raise here is something called Google Shopping. I'm sure everyone's aware of it. Most of you may have products listed on there, but this is very much a traditional area. In the very same fashion, we can look to feed in, whether it's Google Seller Ratings, whether it's snippets, or product reviews. All these reviews, service, and product can be fed into your Google Shopping automatically. So how do we get these stars? So within Google Shopping, you'll need to collect 50 product reviews in your overall feed, and that can come through multiple products to hit the criteria there. And off the back of that, you need at least 3 reviews on these individual products. So we'll give you a bit of understanding the process here at Trustpilot. We'll look to go back to previous customers, ensure a flood of reviews and create a reputation overnight. And then naturally this feed into the various different channels, whether it's Google Seller Ratings, whether it's snippets, or whether it's product reviews, which ultimately will feed into your Google Shopping automatically. And as you can see on the next slide here, there's 2 different kind of stars. The green is your Google Seller Ratings, so the criteria of 150 reviews at 3.5 star and above. And of course, you can see the product reviews there at the top, which we just covered in the last particular slide. So the idea here is, as people are searching and comparing, it's allowing you guys to stand out. Especially with a lot of large players out there who may not be even displaying their own ratings, etc., that go through there. So it's again, what a great quick win here to draw attention to the site. And as they know you're reputable, it may be you guys are selling products slightly more expensive than some of the larger players, but people tend to choose that over a reputation, and then vice versa in regards to cost there. So it's a great quick win there to ultimately hit the ground running. So on the last slide here, I guess key takeaways throughout this particular webinar. We covered service reviews and how Google Seller Ratings feed into that to increase click-through rate and reduce your cost per click and your overall cost per acquisition. Rich snippets, which falls directly into the same area. Big bright stars on category pages and key search pages that you guys are appearing in Google to drive that click-through rate. And finally, product reviews, kept separately to have the SEO marked up on your website with fresh, relevant content, and allowing you guys to increase click-through rates with these big bright stars once again. So hopefully everyone's taking something away, whether you're looking to use in certain areas, whether you're just a service-led business, or whether you both sell service or products, maybe you use Google Seller Ratings or just organic search. And ultimately, these are great quick wins in regards to driving that traffic and ultimately revenue off the back of it. So we'll take the next few minutes now. We've seen a number of questions come through. To go through a few of these, and for those who have emailed those questions in and we don't have time, we'll be following up with yourselves directly after this webinar.
Cool. So we've got the first question come in here, and just to read it out to everyone, it's how often does Google change its algorithm, and will the number of reviews I need go up? So Google can essentially change its algorithm at any time, but what Google's great at is obviously displaying the most relevant results. And as I mentioned earlier, if on a specific search term, Trustpilot is relevant or the customer reviews are relevant, more often than not, we will appear. In terms of Google Seller Ratings and the reviews you need to achieve that, This previously used to be 30 reviews. It's now 150 as a criteria to get those Google Seller Rating stars on your AdWords. However, Google can change this at any time and can change the criteria for this. It has to be 150 reviews within that 12-month period and over 3.5 star rating. Google changed this recently once and put it down to 100, but within the same day they put it back up to 150 reviews as a requirement.
Excellent. We've got a question from Maria. So how long does it take to set up rich snippets? So as per the other slides in this presentation, it can be done in seconds. It's simple copy and paste of the code, go to your Google console, get Google to crawl through your websites, and then it's up to Google when they get picked up with their algorithms. But we see this set up very, very quickly. And we update these rich snippets whenever Google changes their guidelines to ensure they always appear for yourselves. So I hope that answers your question, Maria.
Another question from Joe, and it's how does Trustpilot help me get my review count for product reviews? So as Dan mentioned earlier, what Trustpilot normally does is with newer businesses, we can go back to previous customers and invite those to leave a review. We have a system in place where a customer can invite all of their, a business can invite all of their customer base to leave a review and make it very simple. So each customer gets an email and all they have to do is click 1 to 5 star within that email and it takes them to a page to leave a review. They don't have to register, they don't have to sign up, they don't have to do any browsing online to find where to leave that review. Because we've made the system so simple, it's very easy for a business to build up those reviews quite quickly.
And we've got one more question and we'll get back to the rest of you guys via email after this, but we've got a question from Pam. Can I make review widgets appear any way I want on my website? So the short answer is yes. On some of our particular plans, you guys have full access to our open APIs to ensure that if you have particular brand guidelines, you're able to integrate that in line with that particular brand. The reason why we have typical out-of-the-box ones though, and this may offer a slightly different spin on things, it's already marked up for you. We do the heavy lift in terms of the code. You guys simply copy and paste. And a lot of businesses will like that third-party independence there to really make it stand out, so it can relate to opposed to, for example, testimonials. So we offer both options there, and we can advise to help you guys get that set up best as possible.
Great. So thank you everyone for listening in, and hope you found the webinar useful.
And we'll get back to any of you with questions via email after this. But no, have a great one, and we'll catch you guys soon.